Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Janine Harry, a communication scientist by profession, here to give you communication tips and self-awareness strategies through conversation. So thank you so much for joining me. Now, by next week, I will definitely have my presentations back up. But for the rest of this week, I am just dropping some quick little videos to get you thinking. Now, not a lot of people know this about me. In fact, only my parents know that I am sort of like gifted with the clays. If you know what the clays are, you know. If you know, you know. But yeah, like right now, I am just heavy on clay cognizance. So when the wisdom drops in, it drops in as truth, and it is a truth that I cannot even refute. And I was thinking last night, it is so funny how people say things like they are struggling to love themselves, they're struggling to feel the sense of self love. And I'm like, you know what? That is not true because think about it in this way. If you are hungry, you make the effort to eat something. If you are thirsty, you make the effort to get something to drink. If you are cold, you are the one that puts in the effort of putting on a coat or a jersey. If you are ill, you are the one that will do things to make yourself feel better, such as, taking vitamins or drinking medicine or whatever. So if you are the one that is always trying to make yourself feel comfortable, then isn't that the greatest form of self love? Because think about it in this way, no one else is carrying you to the loo when you need to use the bathroom, right? You're the one that's doing that. No one else is changing your bodily position in the bed when a certain position feels uncomfortable. You are the one that's doing that. You are always in each and every moment showing yourself love without even realizing it. Isn't that just wonderful and wild? In each and every moment, we are showing ourselves self love and we do not even realize this. And this is because the idea of self love is seen or perceived to be this big event, something that is so magnified. We even have people saying things like, I'm going to sell you a course or teach you how to love yourself, pay me, X amount of money so that I can show you how to do this. But what people don't realize is that we already inhabit self love because every single act that we perform unto ourselves, even those acts that may not seem really great and positive on the surface, is still an act of self love. Okay? And here's an example. On some days, you might decide to have an all nighter to the point where you decide, like, hey, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to stay up and complete this project, even if I am going to feel tired the next day. In that moment, staying up and sacrificing your sleep is a form of self love. But when you understand that we are always just giving ourselves the best type of self love or love that we are able to give ourselves, we then become so focused on giving ourselves a better level or an upgraded version of love. So, on some occasions, the best form of self love might just be like, hey, to lose out on some sleep and to complete the project. On other days, you might feel like, hey, the best form of self love is actually for me to get some sleep and to let my projects and let my assessments and so forth, let me put that on hold, okay? But the point that I'm trying to make is that in each and every moment, no matter what we do and no matter what that looks like, it's always an act of love unto ourselves. Because at the end of the day, all that exists is actually love. And I know that this sounds like really wishy washy at this point because not a lot of people, want to hear things like this. They want to hear about things that are more practical, things that are going to make them feel a bit more comfortable about where they're at in life. But the moment you start speaking about things like self love and how love's the only thing that exists, people get uncomfortable. It's like, oh, I don't want to hear that because the reality is that a lot of these conversations are uncomfortable conversations to have because we cannot grasp the idea that all that exists is freaking love, right? That's all that exists. And this is why you cannot teach love to anybody because love is not something that can be defined. We try to fit love in a box and we try to say that yes, love should look this particular way. And this is how love should be, and this is how love should unfold. But love is the one thing in the universe that cannot be defined because it exists on a spectrum and it unfolds in different ways. And this is why some acts of love will look really great and other acts of love might not. But the big question is not, are you loving yourself or are you not? The big question is, how can you give yourself a better grade of love? How can you always give yourself the better quality of love? That is all that you need to focus on. But at the end of the day, nobody can teach you about self love. Self love is not something that is magnified and that you have to reach. It's not an end goal. Love is always there at our disposal. And we just don't realize that. Love has always been the thread that keeps our heart beating. So, yes, love has always been there. It's not something that we need to reach, it's not something that we need to fight for. It is always there in every single moment of the day. And it's so important for us to understand that because a lot of us feel like there's something wrong with us, like, oh, I need to work on my self love. I'm not loving correctly right now. No, you are loving in the best way that you know how, because at the end of the day, that is still love. And love is all that will ever be. So, yes, if you loved this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think. And please do share it with whoever you think might need to hear this. Till next time, much love.